So as we ignite their consciousness of the cell with energy from raw foods, as we ignite their consciousness with chemistry that is vital and enzymatic rich, cells just wake up and go, yeah, now I understand who I am. And that's what it takes. And then I would definitely, that's about all. 2 lymphatics, stomach and bowel, 2 kidneys, parasite M. If you need to grab the liver, grab the liver. If you need to grab the pancreas, grab the pancreas. If you need upper circ, grab that. If you need a heart formula, you can add to that core mix. But now you're taking something specifically for tissue that's specifically responsible for your problem. Where if you take vitamins and minerals and amino acids, there's nothing there specific for those tissues. And their magnetics are very low at best. Especially in an isolated formula. If you get a superfood blend, now you got something totally different. You got the power and consciousness and the energetics of the food themselves. And so, much different type of thinking. Revolution Man. This is Revolution Man 2012. You get tired of sitting here yet?
No.
Good. All right, this is, can anyone tell me how to cure derealization, depersonalization? A loved one suffers from this. I've seen this question here before, and I've talked about this before, where a person just gets totally out of touch with the world. And one of the big factors of that is the emotions, is the adrenal glands. When your adrenal glands are really down, you can isolate yourself into a world of your own. Into any world. It can be a dark world too, especially with the depression of the parathyroid coming at you. When your endos are down, you go in back to the fetal position, because you're basically not living life in its vibrancy. So the lower energy, the more acidic, the more back to fetal position, and the more decay, and the more toward death, and the more syncope you get. So this is why you must get into those adrenal glands. Getting into the adrenal glands will get into the neurotransmitters that runs the autonomic nervous system, which translates to the astral body, which is your emotions. And by bringing all this up, also learning to be in the now. Very important also for that person to not judge themselves and not look at themselves. But again, getting someone healthy to me has always been the doorway to fix these social type of problems and these emotional type of problems, these introspective type of people that put out, because I was very shy. Still am, believe it or not. You can make my face pretty red pretty easy. But I'm just used to speaking because I've done so much teaching in my life that it just comes natural to me. But, like I've said, I've thrown up many times before I had to go out and give a lecture. Be in the bathroom sick as a dog and have to go out and give a talk. It's how it gets you in the gut there and just rips you apart, But after a while, you get used to it. This is what I'm saying for you guys that are wanting to be healers, and you're already taking those steps, because a lot of these guys are already healing up people all over the place. And I love that. And so it's just articulating what you see and know down through these little channels of the emotions and the mind and through this physical body, because you'll see this, and I talked to someone yesterday that way, where they have so much awareness, but when it comes to talking to people, it doesn't come out as they see it. And I'm that way, we're all that way, because we're trying to take so much and bring it through so little. That's why simplicity is always your key. When you try to get intellectual, your mind will combobulate. It'll lock up. When you relax and just talk like you're talking to a bunch of friends, it'll open up. And that's what you want to see. You want to see everyone you talk to, everyone you're helping as your friend, as your brother, as your sister, as part of the one of all life, sent here by God. And you also become the way shower to help these souls that are trapped, or these souls that are dealing in some of these bodies that are not genetically up there. And so by turning someone on to health and vitality, you're actually opening the door into the God worlds. Because the less energy you have, the weaker you are, the more you're back down to the fetal position again, the more you're into the darkness. The light That's what you want to bring your friends, and that you want to bring your friends where you are. You know, there's an old saying when you're talking to people, now using this figuratively speaking, do you go down to their level in consciousness, or do you bring them up to yours? Absolutely, you always bring them up. This is Oxygen Palm again. Healthy blood. Dear Dr. Morse, many thanks for your videos. We are now a high fruit family. Yeah, we talked to this one a minute ago with a pretty little doggy. I have accidentally cut myself. She's written this before. If you have bleeding problems and you're bleeding too much, keep detoxing. I have a bleeding formula that will stop bleeding if you're bleeding too much or have internal bleeding. Use that one. But ultimately, as you get your body healthy, you get the liver healthy, you get your spleen healthy, because here's the spleen and platelets, build your bone marrow up. As you start doing these things, as I said, when you cut yourself, no blood, immediate clotting, not in the negative way, and everything is good, and no pain. That means the nervous system is on. When your nervous system is strong, there is no pain. Isn't that funny? And the weaker the nervous system, the more pain. How interesting, huh? Now, this is a question by Reforest for Fertility. Interesting. Reforest for Fertility. Doctor, while fruit sugars are natural in juice, they're out of the context of the fiber, which shows it entry into the body, making juice high glycemic and mostly whole fruit low glycemic. Isn't it the abrupt effect on the pancreas and upon the body system in general with high glycemic food intake what creates dental problems like a systemic cause and typical agents, acids, and bacteria appearing to cause the effect? Well, mostly it is the effect, dear one, absolutely. Mostly it is the effect, and of course acids are going to be the byproduct of most metabolism and respiration and most activity. There is always conversion of this by something, whether it's plants or chemistry in the body, but not all. So there is some excretion of acids to the outside world for sure, absolutely. In terms of fruit, fiber, being a lot of starch, absolutely. Although the fruit starch, to me, that sugar really, I've seen this in type 1 particularly with the insulin problems and in simple glucose not being carried through a cell wall. I've never seen vegetable fiber or thought of it in the way of creating more sugar problems. Possible. Definitely possible, I suppose. Maybe that's why fruit sugar is so much superior to that. But it's always the acids. And even in the fruit, you got some acids. You got some acids in all foods. All foods are not all base chemistry. Even vegetables are not all base chemistry. A good grown food should be about 80% base to 20% acidic. You're always going to have some phosphorus. You're always going to have some iron. Always going to have the acid principles in a food. Always. Some foods have a little more, some a little less. Like nightshades and things like that. They're just the rearrangement of chemistry to make the food. So you just have to play through that. But ultimately, the breakdown of the teeth and everything else is definitely an acid medium. And if you're eating fruits and vegetables, you'll notice that it'll turn your saliva alkaline. And that's really what you want. But again, moving lint's really key here. Well, our time is coming up to an end, and I still, as you see, I haven't got a lot done because we had so many questions, and then it takes a while to explain, but hopefully that some of these answers will reach out to all of you, to all of them. How do you learn out-of-body travel? Now you're talking. All right, this is Minchu, Grammy. All right, so we'll end on that one. There's so many of you asked some beautiful questions. Hi, Detoxifier. Like your new name. I tell you what, there's so many. I'm going to get to you all. I promise. I'll get to these. I'm going to come in another 3 or 4 hours this weekend and catch up with them. But how do you practice out-of-body travel? Well, first of all, you must understand who's the real you, at least as much as you can. You know that this body isn't you because you notice that you come into it and you leave it at the time of birth and at the time of death, right? Now, if you know that you just using this body and you just entered to it, and it takes a near-death experience to have an out-of-body experience, in other words, something to shake you so hard that you pop out, or something that hurts the body so bad that your body can't support you anymore, then you leave the body. Why is it that you couldn't leave it at any time you wanted to? If you have the ability to move in it, you have the ability to move out of it. What's the difference? And that is your attention. Your attention is your consciousness. That is, when you look here, when you look there, you must plug into the looker. You must learn who is the looker, not what you're looking at, but who's doing the looking. That's the real you, the knower, the looker. Not the person, not the mind, not the thoughts, not the desires, not the emotions. That's not you. That's your process of creating. So you must, to understand who you are, you have to drop all preconceived ideas of who you think you might be. Even we use the terminology soul, by trying to depict something that you can't put a word on, can still limit your ability to see yourself as something omnipresent or something that's more infinite. So getting to realize that that person that is doing the observing, the person that's doing the experiencing, whether it's Julie, whether it's Karen, whether it's Kelly, whether it's Steve, it doesn't matter. Whether it's Owen, it doesn't matter. It's who is doing the observing is who you really are. So you experience by where you place your attention. In creation is dead to you until you put your attention on it. It's kind of like having a long film, and each frame is dead until there's light given it. And then when you take the light off of that picture and that frame, it goes on and that frame's gone, and the light keeps shining on new pictures, even though these pictures are still there. And that's creation. Creation is just endless amounts of film. You're the one that is the projector that turns on the light and views each room, each film. And so it is with these different levels. And that's why Jesus made the comment that in my Father's mansion there are many rooms. So most of these spiritual giants knew the ability and the art of out-of-body travel. St. Paul, St. Peter, I mean, there are tons of spiritual giants that have been seen in two places simultaneously. Interesting stuff, even in the Christian lore. So very easy to understand when you understand you're not the body, you're only using it, but that your attention activates your experience. And so you simply move your attention from one place to another, but you don't take your body with you. And so that's what meditation is about. If you want to travel in creation, you must put your attention away from where you are in that moment. If your body's in the house, then and you're laying down at night, picture yourself somewhere where you want to be, someplace you love, and put yourself there. I like to be on the beach, so I like to smell the ocean. I like to feel my feet walking on the beach, and the next thing you know, I'm walking on the beach. Oh yeah. I moved myself out of my physical body and moved it to my astral body, or I moved it to my mental body. Doesn't matter that you know what body you're in at the time. You know you're not looking through the physical body. You're looking through your astral or mental body, which has ability to travel in their worlds. And the higher you get to yourself, you can travel in all these different worlds. So it's an incredible thing. Get books on Paul Twitchell. Paul Twitchell was an avid out-of-body traveler at age 3. He and his sister played more out-of-body than in-body when they were babies and young children. He mapped out the heavens. And I've also given you a clue about the Monroe Institute. Matter of fact, Dimitri here got the Monroe Institute information. He mapped out the astral world pretty good and works with out-of-body travels through music. And, a good music will take me, like Enigma can take me right out of my body. And so it's just shifting your attention from one place to another place. That's all it is.